The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCmedia News, we wrap up our back-to-school previews with the Fall River Public Schools and the Atlantis Charter School. Our look ahead at the September 19th preliminary election this week features incumbent Mayor Paul Coogan. And art and exercise cross paths at the opening of the city's fitness court at Britland Park. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, August 24th, 2023. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. Most of the 10,000 plus students within the Fall River Public Schools return to the classroom next Wednesday, August 30th, and leadership is dedicated to adhering to its plans to improve academic outcomes. For the third year, the district has been bolstered by state increased funding for local education. Superintendent of Schools Maria Ponce says the increase in money has allowed the expansion of staff and services for students that have made a difference in educational attainment, with still more work to be done.
Our students last year came back. They were more ready to learn. We were able to provide interventions and pull them in small groups, work with them, close some gaps. Certainly takes a long time it takes a long time to turn a school, turn a district around, and add a pandemic to it. It's just going to add to that. So people, I know everybody's waiting and saying, okay, you have all this money, let's see the results. We have our kids 6.5 hours to 7 hours a day. We are working hard, and we have an incredibly dedicated team, whether it's teachers, counselors, administrators, top to bottom. We have an incredibly dedicated group of people. But we need to engage our families also in working with us. We're not going to be able to do this alone. This is not work that gets done 6.5 hours a day and then kids go home. They need to have good habits. They need to continue the learning in different ways when they go home, and that work needs to happen. So that's ongoing.
The superintendent says the district this year will be promoting the social media hashtag #ShowUpFRPS as a way to engage students' interest in school and lower absenteeism.
We have reduced it. We've reduced it considerably, but still our chronic absenteeism, I want to say, was hovering around 40%. That's not good. That means kids are missing 10 or more days of school for whatever reason. Some of it are, there's reasons for it, but we need to do, if the kids aren't in school, they can't learn. So we need our kids to be in school. We need our staff to be there every day. We need our kids to be there every day, and only be out when they absolutely have to. So attendance is going to be at the forefront of everything we do. We are going to remind parents that we are their partners. Kids need to be in school so that they can learn. Teachers can't do their job if kids aren't in front of them.
Ms. Ponce says the district is still in need of special education, math, and English as a second language instructors before the year starts, but it's in a much better position this summer than a year ago in filling open positions. The system has also made a concerted effort to ensure curriculum instruction is consistent across all schools.
We have a transient population, so if a student moves, if they attended Fonseca, for instance, and then now they're at Henry Lord, they might be a week or so off, but they're going to be using the same materials. We've also invested in Lexia, where students are actually doing some intervention work, and they can do, it's an electronic digital program. So we are seeing gains and gaps closing. It's self-paced. It takes students where they are and moves them forward according to their progress. So yeah, those investments they're huge, and we are seeing some consistency across the board, that will pay off.
The school system is also able to expand its pre-K offerings for the second year in a row.
the earlier we intervene, the better. We actually are renting space on Eastern Avenue, and we have the Early Learning Center there. And you're right, the old Atlantis Charter School, we're opening up in the fall with 9 pre-K classrooms. I will say that 3 of those classrooms are moving over there, 2 from Laterno, so they're moving to create space. We're starting with the first 2 floors are ready to go. We're starting with pre-K, and we have a committee that we've put together that we're looking at demographics, looking at school population to see where we have overcrowding, so we can determine how we will populate the following fall the rest of that building, whether it will be a pre-K to 8 or pre-K to 5, depending on where the need is.
With the focus on improvement in the classroom, the district is also providing expanded after-school activities in some areas.
Well, we have a thriving sports program at the elementary and middle level that they've done a really good job. But we actually, Cuss Middle School just also received the 21st Century Grant. So we have some schools that have after-school activities through 21st Century Grant. They have an opportunity to do some academic support as well as do some enrichment activities. And Cuss just received that grant also in addition to, and Laterno also, in addition to the schools that already have it. So that's a good thing for them because students are going to be able to opt into those activities and be able to stay later as well as engage in other types of learning, but in a different way.
The Atlantis Charter School in Fall River begins its new academic year on Monday with 1,300 students enrolled in its K-12 program. The current Atlantis School campus on Jefferson Street opened in 2017 with room for expansion, particularly in the high school grades.
I believe we've graduated our 6th senior class, so a relatively young high school. And obviously before that, we were growing our high school a grade level per year and had been a K-8 school for a number of years. So that growth has happened over the course of, I guess, almost the last decade in terms of opening the high school and then growing it slowly and then having our recent graduating classes. You know, the wait list remains strong, certainly at the K-8 level. At the high school level, we've seen really strong enrollment. You know, the great thing about our region is that there are a number of phenomenal high school programs in our region. You know, Durfee, Argosy, Diamond, and then outside of Fall River as well, a number of really strong programs. So we are an option at the high school level for high school in the greater Fall River area. And we've been really happy with the growth we've seen over the last couple of years.
Mr. Beatty says high school students will benefit from being exposed to a myriad of job opportunities through the school's Career Academy.
And so the idea here is to expose kids to one of 5 really broad career pathways that they may want to pursue in college or after high school. And so a part of that exposure to these broad career pathways is connecting our kids and our school to local industry, businesses in our area, business leaders in our area, and try to establish connections for internships, job shadowing, those kinds of things. And so that's really grown year over year, and we are really excited about some of the opportunities we've been able to expose our kids to. Some of it's been here. So we have a teaching and social services career academy. The kids that are engaged in that academy, part of for many of them, their internships involve being a student teacher at our elementary school. And so those are the kinds of career exposure that our kids are getting, and we're excited this year to see that program grow more.
For students in the elementary grades of the school, the focus will shift to a new, expanded literacy curriculum.
Most people know now, particularly in the earliest grades, kindergarten through 3rd grade, making sure that kids have a strong foundation in reading is critical. We had a great program here, great work among our staff, but education is never we've never solved the issue finally, and forever. And so we're constantly looking for ways that we can improve instruction, improve programming for our kids. So this new program is a pretty big initiative for us. It was a pretty significant grant from the Department of Ed, and we had a number of staff in over the summer, spent a lot of time planning and preparing to make some really great improvements in our literacy program.
Since the new campus was constructed, the school has been able to expand its athletics offerings to all students.
We have a multi-use turf field on our campus here, a baseball field. We were able to add a softball field last year, which we were really proud of. That was a really fantastic addition to our athletics program. And that gets used, all of those fields get used for all of our grade levels as best as we possibly can. It can be tight scheduling at times. Certainly among the different varsity sports we have, but we also offer opportunities at the middle school and at the elementary level for kids to get exposure to certainly sports from a recreation standpoint in physical education class and those sorts of things, but also extracurricular activities that can kind of lead up to some of the junior varsity and varsity sports that we have.
As Atlantis Charter enters its 28th year serving Fall River students, Mr. Beatty says the school remains committed to providing each student with the academic support needed to succeed.
Similar to some of the other high school options in our area, we're focused as best we can on individualized instruction for the kids. We have as advantageous a student to teacher ratio as we possibly can. In many of our classrooms, you'll see, anywhere from 23, 24 students to 27 or 28 students, but you might see 3 or 4 educational professionals in that classroom, whether it's a lead classroom teacher and a special ed teacher, or a paraprofessional, a Title I teacher. So there's a lot of individualized support that's provided to our kids.
We're less than 1 month away from the Fall River preliminary municipal election, and we continue our look now at some of the candidates you'll see on the ballot. 3 candidates are on the ballot for mayor, including incumbent Mayor Paul Coogan, who is seeking election to a 3rd term. The mayor says the city has benefited greatly from the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funds, which includes over $80 million. With about $25 million left to spend, the mayor says the priority is to spend it on projects that impact as many city residents as possible.
We have a number of big projects, Lewiston Street, that we want to put some significant funds into that, because that is not a nice place to work, not a nice setup for the public. It's not a very friendly environment. We want something much better down there, and we have plans in the works for that. We have a number of park upgrades we're going to be working on. So we have a home for all that money, but at the same time, we never threw it out willy-nilly and said, oh good, we got this money, let it go. We're going to use that money to help the residents of the city of Fall River to the best of our ability, whether it's police cars, whether it's capital improvements, whether it's streets and highways. When they change the funding over to make it more CDA-like, we're going to be able to use it on a bunch of different stuff.
The cost of housing caused by inflation remains an issue for Fall Riverites and others across the country. The mayor says he continues to look to create affordable housing options across the city.
I'm not a fan of the big 100-unit high-rises. I don't mind, 6 units here, 5 there, 4 there, that we can make more affordable. And we're looking at that. We were even looking at that with the Armory, making sure there was an affordability component. At the same time, though, Fall River is under the same restrictions the rest of the state is. You must have 10% of your housing that could be considered affordable. Well, I think with all of our vouchers and our programs, we're somewhere around 28%. Our neighboring communities have not met the 10% threshold. Rents are going up across the country. People have to understand that, and Fall River is still below other communities. I think I was reading a story the other day that Quincy was at $2,200 for a 1-bedroom apartment. I mean, we're around 17, which is still extremely high and more than a lot of people can afford, but we're not there yet.
Crime is also still a concern, and the mayor says he and Police Chief Paul Garvin are making strides in hiring more officers to patrol the city.
Obviously, we're trying to incentivize our people so they don't have to pay for the training anymore. We've given them body cams, which I think is a tremendous protector for our police. Allows people to see exactly what's going on and know that they're all being recorded. There are a number of good things going on with the Fall River Police Department. The recruit classes I've seen, which I've been fortunate enough to talk to, I think we have a good core of people, just not enough of them. We need more, and we're trying to bring them in to get it up to a full complement. And I think we will. We're making headway. I think our retirements are starting to slow. That was a big bump class that we lost for the last couple of years. So hopefully we'll catch up and we'll be fine.
With the increase in funding for city schools, the mayor says the focus now shifts to recruiting and retaining qualified teachers and staff to meet the needs of every student. He's also looking at ways to work with the state in lessening the impact of the MCAS test.
There's a move now to go to a ballot to eliminate the MCAS test, which is a common scoring rubric for the state. I always think that that's not the best way to go. The best way to go may be to shorten that test. I mean, that thing is 14, 16 hours now. People have to understand that. That throws these schools into upheaval. When I was a kid, you could get into college on an SAT test, which was 3 hours on a Saturday morning.
Hours,
yeah. So why couldn't we do something like that with math and English? Give them a basic test on a Saturday morning, make sure they can read and write and do math and get the fundamentals down, and then let them go.
Mayor Coogan says he's excited about the long-term possibilities of what economic development opportunities can be realized once South Coast Rail launches later this year and the state finishes its work to reconstruct Route 79.
If we have an area that's livable, walkable, where there's restaurants, stores, housing, parking, maybe some recreation, and we run it right down that whole waterfront, what could that be? That could be so much. I mean, walk to the city pier, put your canoe in, paddle around the Taunton River, go down to the Bicentennial Park or Heritage Park or take a walk. We got new restaurants opening up down near the Narrows now. I mean, those are the kind of things that make a city walkable and livable and give you a little bit of a character, and that's what we're looking for. This 79 project is really going to be big. With job opportunities come the ability to pay for an apartment, to go grocery shopping, to go to a restaurant, and that's what fuels economic development. If Fall River can carve out a niche where it can keep its people living here and shopping here and eating here, we're going to be fine.
Also on the ballot for mayor in September will be former mayor and Bristol County District Attorney Sam Sutter and 2021 candidate Michael Vando. Please visit our FRC Media website special Election 2023 webpage, where you'll hear statements from the candidates and our complete interviews. Visit frmedia.org/election2023. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Leadership Facilitator and Coach. Liberty Utilities, located at 36 5th Street, is looking for a full-time leadership facilitator and coach responsible for developing and enhancing the leadership capabilities of employees. Job number 195-24726. Chef, Whitson's School Group, a family-owned and operated food service management company, is seeking a full-time chef responsible for all concept training in secondary schools and training all cooks. Job number 195-25943. Maintenance Mechanic. First Realty Management, located at 2000 Bay Street, is looking for a full-time maintenance mechanic responsible for serving one or a group of apartments in the Fall River, Mass area. Job number 195-25612. Customer Service Associate. Walgreens, located at 369 Plymouth Avenue, is looking for a part-time customer service associate. For more information, call 508-730-2902. L3 Harris Technologies, located at 275 Martine Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Lead Project Engineer, job number 195-24578. Mechanical Engineer, job number 195-24577. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The unemployment rate in Fall River ticked higher last month. The July jobless rate sits at 4.3%, up from 4.1% in June and 5.9% from July of last year. Rates across the region and in other gateway cities in eastern Massachusetts were also higher. The state's unemployment rate dropped last month to 2.5%. The City of Fall River, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, and the National Fitness Campaign cut the ribbon yesterday, officially opening the city's first outdoor fitness court located at Britland Park. The fitness court consists of a 7-movement workout for adults at all fitness levels. The court is one of 7 currently in Massachusetts and the first here on the South Coast.
We're looking for ways to improve the parks all the time for our residents in the city of Fall River. And this park right here is in a prime location. It needs a few more things we're going to add to it. Maybe bring some recreational stuff back for the little kids. But we put new basketball courts. We have some pickleball courts. And this fitness center is going to be a nice complement to those pieces. It's important for us in the Flint to give access to the community and to help to bring the community together down here at Britland Park, right behind our police station, where people can exercise, talk, have fun, watch a soccer game. And it's important that Fall River makes these livable projects for everybody to take part in.
Jeff Bellows of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts says the fitness courts are becoming a welcomed activity within the community.
When Blue Cross made the decision to support public fitness courts, one of our priorities was to expand free, accessible, equitable access to outdoor exercise programs in communities across Massachusetts. This is the 7th fitness court that we've opened since last year, and it's the 3rd of 12 that we plan to launch across the state this year. And it's the first fitness court in southeastern Massachusetts, so that's a pretty cool thing. Blue Cross is committed to helping people live healthy lives, eliminating the physical and social barriers that lead to health disparities.
The fitness court is designed to include a signature art project that reflects the community that hosts it. That effort in Fall River was organized by the Fall River Arts and Culture Coalition.
This fitness court here is not just about physical exercise, it's about forging connections and celebrating our collective spirit. This space will witness not only physical exertion, but the emerging of art and fitness uplifting both body and soul. So let's step into this canvas of wellness, honoring the sweat and inspiration that shaped it. Let's relish in the fusion of art and exercise, and remember that the fitness court symbolizes our shared commitment to a healthier, more connected community.
The Fall River Fitness Court is the first in the state that features a local artist in its design. Abigail Collins lives in Fall River and says her winning design fits within the fitness theme of the court.
In my design, I wanted to make something that was inclusive, that everyone could relate to. We've got sneakers, everyone's staying active. I wanted something that had a lot of patterns to it, and I also wanted the colors to kind of match the theme of the fitness court itself. I incorporated a lot of different designs that go well with the lines that are on the fitness court, as well as, the different shapes that are found throughout. I really wanted something that just brought the whole thing together. And I think that the pattern of the sneakers really fits everything together.
Ms. Collins takes pride in knowing that her artwork will be a central element of the fitness court for years to come. She also received a $5,000 prize for submitting the winning design.
I mean, it's amazing. I frequently walk on the Quequechan Trail over here, and I like to stay active. So this will definitely be a good opportunity for me to get outside myself, as well as encourage other people to get outside and stay active too. When I'm done with one project, I move on to the next. So the money will definitely help in my future art endeavors.
Finally this week, unfortunately, we have some sad news to share. Longtime FRCmedia community producer Richard Urban passed away less than 2 weeks ago at his home in the south end of the city. Richard began hosting Veterans Issues, which ultimately was renamed The Richard Urban Show, a community-based talk program. Even though he was a volunteer producer with us for quite some time, Richard made a bigger impact for his service to the community. He was involved in a number of initiatives at Diamond Regional Vocational Technical High School and was an organizer of memorials at the Kosciuszko Monument, the Corporal David Miller Monument, and Pulaski Park. Richard is survived by a daughter, son-in-law, and grandson. He was 81 years old.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Miss Diane. Diane here is a 2-year-old pitty. She came to us as a stray from the local area. Since she is a pit bull, we do have a couple extra requirements than we have with most of our other dogs. You need to own your own home, and since we don't have a history around kids, she cannot be with kids. We haven't had any problems with this sweetheart. She's just a ball of energy, and she probably needs a more active home, somebody who's going to walk her a lot, get her energy out. But she's definitely a sweetheart, and she's just kind of looking for a home. If you guys are interested in Miss Diane, come on down to Forever Paws Animal Shelter. You can fill out our application and come see this wonderful girl.
Today we have Hester. Hester is a domestic medium-haired female. She's 2 years old. She gets along fine with other cats. Kids, I say, would be fine with her. She's typically a very lovable girl. She's not too keen sometimes on being picked up, but she does love attention. She does love to be pet. There's a lot of times she'll jump up if you're sitting down, she'll jump up onto your lap and curl up with you. But as far as being picked up and just held, not so much. But when she's in the mood to lay on your lap, that's when she'll do it. But she is a sweet girl. Like I said, she gets along with other cats. Kids would be fine with her. Dogs, I'd say no for dogs. But other than that, Hester will be a great addition to any family. She's a love bug. So if you'd like to meet Hester, come on down to 300 Linwood Street. She would love to meet you.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website at frmedia.org for all the latest news and local information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.